This episode of Off the Vine is brought to you by Heineken 00. 100% taste, 0.0% alcohol, only 69 calories. Now you can. Follow the link in the episode description to buy now. Off the Vine.
Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Vine. I'm your host, Kaitlyn Bristowe. Comfy as over here in my cowboy boots and my sweatsuit and my sunglasses, which I'll explain later. I don't even know how to intro these sometimes, so I was like, Dave, could you just take it away?
We talked about Clayton Echard. He was accused of being the father of somebody's unborn, never-born twins. We found out she faked cancer and committed all this other fraud, and I've got receipts.
That's all you need to know. I have a confession. I didn't realize I had Clayton muted on my...
Oh, funny.
But it's because I got mad at him about something and then I just muted him for a minute because I was like, I'll come back to this. Yeah. And then I forgot to unmute. So somebody was like, we want to see you supporting Clayton for his trial. And I went back and I was like, oh shit.
Oh, funny. No,
and I realized I'd missed so much stuff.
You talking to me here has been massive support.
I love everything that came out of our last podcast. Like the amount of people that were like, oh my gosh, justice for Clayton. Like, thank you, Dave, for doing the Lord's work.
They're being labeled a cult by her side and only her side, but they're the nicest people. And the only thing they have in common is...
Sign me up for that cult.
Yeah, they just didn't like the fact that somebody was getting a very raw deal.
Does she have friends?
No.
Okay.
Not one person has come forward other than the witness she had to pay. Her expert witness she paid. Okay,
that was a question. First of all, before we jump into it, I'm not a complete douchebag wearing sunglasses inside. These are like half sunnies, but just so everybody knows, I had like a really nice little meltdown where I was bawling my eyes out. And so I was like, I just need something to cover up this face right now. And this
I think you look great. And I think I prefer meltdown Kaitlyn.
Really?
It like restores you to like your base level. Like, don't give me the pretty version. True. Just give me
this. I am raw. At base level. Right? I'm like no makeup. Well, actually, then I go to put on a clear lip gloss. I get in the car and I go to talk to my girlfriend on Marco Polo. Do you know that app?
No.
Oh, it's like a video chat app. And I was like, what? My lips were bright pink. And I looked at the lip gloss and it was a mood changing lip gloss. So it like, and I was like, I do not feel bright pink right now. Like, I'm surprised it didn't turn like black. But so I was like bright lips, no makeup, tear eyes. And then I also got a tiny bit of Botox. So I have like I'm just like
I love that you had a mood changing lips. Like, you're the last person, you wear your mood on your face. There's no hiding how Kaitlyn Bristowe feels.
I didn't know it was a mood changing lip gloss. So I was like, oh, okay, well, bright pink was a shock though.
Yeah No, I like it. You look great. So this is the perfect conversation for you to just stay snuggled up. And...
I was like, I'm going to put on a cozy sweatsuit. I'm going to bring a blanket. I should have brought like a snack or something because I do feel like I'm about to like buckle up for another crazy ride of the saga.
Yeah. So you let me tell Clayton Echard's story last time and It was received, I believe, very well.
Yes.
He has a huge audience of people following a story where he was accused of being the father of somebody's unborn twins.
Right.
We unearthed that she had made the same accusation to multiple men in the past. When they stopped dating her, she coerced them into relationships with dating contracts and buying them trips, some of which I'll talk about. Since that last podcast, she has retained a new lawyer who has ramped up the absolute absurdity, threatened to sue me for $140 million in defamation. And I'm going to share with you all of the hard evidence I have that proves I've done nothing but tell the truth.
Holy, 140 million.
Yeah, he's compared me to like Alex Jones and all this crazy. And he's compared me to, he was the guy who lied about Sandy Hook. He knew that it wasn't fake and he kind of like doubled down and now his whole business has been, And he's compared me to Trump, the way he lied about E. Jean Carroll. And I've got all the evidence. And since then have unearthed it all because of this crazy lawyer kind of forcing me to double down and do more work and really double down on the journalism aspect of it. And we have just vindicated all of these men.
And you're doing this all while being a new dad.
That's right.
Do you lose sleep over both baby and work?
I'm trying to separate them because this whole story about a faux pregnancy that ended in miscarriages, it's so dark. And then my love story with my baby is so amazing that I'm just trying not to mix the two, at least in front of my wife. But obviously it's like the only way I protect my family is to go hard in the paint and continue to share this story. Yeah. Because like the reason why we're so aggressive here is because what she does is she'll take the story and then in a year from now make a TEDx talk about it. And then it's like, well, no, we're trying to preserve as much evidence and testimony as we have. But as far as the baby's concerned, healthy boy, beautiful, just nonstop breastfeeding, just attached to my wife at all times. And
she's a hero.
She's a hero.
Yeah. I love that.
She's like, it's just amazing how she clicked into motherhood, because neither one of us were like, let's have babies.
Right.
We were just like, I guess now's the time.
Yeah.
You know, and then it all just worked out.
It just became her.
Yeah.
Women do that. That's something just comes over them where they just do it and they do it well.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope I've said that to you before this,
Yeah.
but
if you ever want to babysit, just let us know.
I talked to Colton Underwood the other day for so long, and then at the end I hung up, and then I was like, I did not say one time congratulations on having a baby. I'm such an asshole. Okay, so you kind of wrapped up where we left off.
Sure. The day that you interviewed me was the day of the deposition, where we were going to learn all of the, under oath secrets of what was going on. And like I said, if people haven't caught up, they got to watch your previous episode. It was a 2-parter. But from there, we have uncovered more evidence I'm going to share with you of fraud. We have unearthed who Chase J. Jones is, this guy who was supposed to be a black journalist who was trying to cancel Clayton.
Yeah.
We've uncovered.
Oh, yes, right.
And that story is insane. It just happened. So I'll get to that. Also, not only did she fake being pregnant with a past victim, we now found out with hard evidence she faked ovarian cancer. She faked having an ovary removed, all in part to continue to have this man nurse her back to health. So I think I should start by taking it back to there, because in order to tell Clayton's story, you have to provide the pattern that led to this and this brazen ability to Photoshop things. So during her deposition, which was happening when you were interviewing me, we then learned she admits to Photoshopping documents. Yeah. She admitted to Photoshopping an ultrasound. She said, it was a real ultrasound. I just changed the name of where it was done because I didn't want Clayton to find me. She said it was at a Planned Parenthood in Mission Viejo, but she had altered it to say somewhere else. So because of that, we learned she was using Adobe Acrobat, which will be important because that's what helps us uncover more fraud in the future. But she's able to just copy and paste font sizes and colors and slide them in. So it's really interesting because AI is making it really easy to do this. And she was kind of ahead of the curve doing this for a few years now. So we've got these past victims. I'm being threatened by her new lawyer, and I wanted to read a few things. We filed a bar complaint and they dismissed it. And what I'm going to share with you is going to be quite shocking. Her lawyer was hired ostensibly to bully me. And in hockey, they call it a goon. Yeah. It's a guy who's hired just to beat up the other team. Yeah. So he has this blog. He wrote me 20-page emails showing me Google addresses of former lawyers that are now homeless. He sent me homeless shelters to show me the people that he's dealt with, what he's done to them, how he's disbarred them. And in this, sick. He actually shows how he's going to sue me and take my home away. He says... Does
this scare you at all?
Yeah, it did. Okay. And it's what led to all the evidence I've uncovered. Okay. So this was actually the accelerant for me to continue to find the truth. Okay. He said this on his blog: these vile scum, people, are not helping anything. They're human cockroaches spreading feces on the floor and then spinning the facts to make them more dramatic than they really are in the hopes this will drive traffic and increase revenue for their sad, pathetic lives. One day, these trash humans will wake up and realize that lying for money is not a good way to live. Or maybe they will never see their sins. Either way, I look forward to reading their obituaries briefly before throwing them in the trash where they belong.
Damn.
So he said if he ever catches his client lying, a lady we've been calling Jane Doe, her name's Laura.
We can say her name now?
Yeah, it doesn't, I out of principle don't want to gag when I say her name. If she gagged, she, of course, she only had oral sex with Clayton, and she then claimed the R word and all these crazy things afterwards. But she initially said there was no DV. This is what happened, but her story's been changed. So then he continues in a different bully blog, and again saying it publicly, really to nobody, but he's checking me, right? Yeah. And again, I am the only one covering this at the time, so he's talking to me. Having done many defamation cases, I can tell you, if Laura sues the Justice for Clayton crew for defamation, it would be an absolute bloodbath. Unless folks like Dave Neal have a really, 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 really good explanation for every defamatory thing they have said about Laura, my prediction is that by this time next year, Laura's horses will be enjoying some new grazing land out in Tennessee once the Neal family has been evicted from their home after losing a multi-million-dollar defamation case in federal court. I really hope that doesn't happen, but at this point, I don't see how it's not going to happen. And my response to you is, let's watch it play out.
Yeah.
So that is what encouraged me to
shit.
get all of the information that then came out, which showed at least 5 more counts of her lying, not just about the cancer, but about these different pregnancies and sonograms and HCG levels. And we then began to do the real work to uncover it all.
So this guy's a real lawyer.
He's a real lawyer, and he has been disciplined in the past, and he's also filed bar complaints, I think, against Clayton's attorneys. And he said, he says publicly, if I can just find out she's lying, I'll drop her as a client. And then we go bet, and we found all this evidence.
Yeah.
We crowdfunded forensic experts to authenticate the evidence we found. And now he says, well, that lie doesn't matter. In the evidentiary hearing, which was June 10th, I was in Arizona. We rented a van.
Oh, you did?
I rented a camper van because I needed air conditioning to live stream because it was like 120
Holy
degrees.
Shit.
And I was like, I'll rent an umbrella and I'll rent a generator. And I was like, I can just rent a van. So we rented that, had it all fired up, and we recorded for 6 straight hours. Police were called. There were bomb sniffing dogs, and also reports that it was a 1-to-1 ratio of undercover police in the actual gallery. My thought is because she was so afraid of her safety, she thought someone was going to do something crazy.
Yeah.
These are kind men. These men have families. Mike and Greg from 2016 and 2020.
These are the other 2 victims.
They are the other 2 victims.
Okay.
All 3 of them, between them and Clayton, they're all like 6'5". They're big men, so they might look menacing on paper. She has a restraining order against all of them, and they've each got irrefutable evidence that she lied. Yeah. And in Mike's case, she created a TEDx talk. She's got a whole chapter in Chicken Soup for the Soul about him. And Clayton knows that it's important to just really drive down the truth here, or else he's going to become a Chicken Soup for the Soul talk. Yeah. And by that point, it's a he said, she said. So in the moment, while there's still evidence and while there's still attention on this, it's just about, driving the truth up. And that's what the cult is, truth.
What really confuses me is and I know I said this on the last one, but I'm still genuinely curious if she knows the truth or not. If she has convinced herself of something else, or if she just thinks she's going to double down and get away with everything.
It's a good question. Here's the only ultrasound that's real. And I can send it to your producer if she wants to lay it out. That's the only one that's real. It's got her last name on it, which should be enough. She sends it to me because I'm the lead journalist here. So
this is not the twins. This is just a baby.
That's the boy is what she called it, as if this was one of the 2. Now, that's a real ultrasound. Okay. Only problem is it's not her baby, it's her nephew's. That is her sister's ultrasound that she sent me. Her sister had a baby in June of 2023. So that's not real. So she was doing these games where she blurred out her first name but not her last because it wasn't her, it was her sister. Yeah. So she does these games to try to convince people she's telling the truth. Yeah. And she expects people to believe him because she's like a petulant, a child that's never been told no in her life. She comes from a rich family. Yeah. She gets her way. She walks over her dad, and she's just like the one who runs the show. So I'll share with you all of the different examples that are just so brazen of her just creating fake personas. She has one fake ex-boyfriend she's created. That's the only person who's really shit on me. This person has emailed other content creators. His name is there's a Tag. His name's Tag, which is ironic because the other fake character is named Chase. So it's almost so obvious that she does this. And the way we caught Chase, I'll get into. So I want to start with Mike. So I text Mike. Here's what happens. The week before the baby's due, my wife thinks she's going into labor. We thought it was labor. We go in, and after a long time at the hospital, found out she had really serious kidney stones, which I think you get a lot when you're pregnant, and also in Nashville because there's the slate in the ground. There's something in the tap water, as I'm told. Interesting. So if you ever feel pain, it's the Nashville thing here, I guess.
Well, I have all of my house on filtered water because Nashville water freaks me out anyway. So
there you go.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we're in the hospital for a day. And then we come back and I'm exhausted. I haven't slept in a few days. This is the closest I've ever felt to a guardian angel pushing me in the right direction. I am sitting at my computer. I should be sleeping. I'm so tired. And I'm like, I got to dig deeper. I'm being threatened with $140 million lawsuits. The guy's saying he's going to have her horses galloping on my property. I mean, a lawyer threatening a journalist, doing it out in plain sight. Yeah. And all the other things, all the other emails he sent me and this and that. So I was like, I got to go deeper. And I looked through old emails from her. and I found an email that was actually from when I was on my baby moon in the Maldives. I wasn't opening her attachments. She sent the email to me and Clayton, but Clayton at that time had already blocked her. So there was actually evidence sitting right in plain sight that she didn't know I still had. And that evidence, because of her crazy lawyer, is what I believe is what's going to be the hardest evidence in the case. So I'll just share that with you quickly. And this was talked about the whole case. There is, because she had to get her medical documents released, all of them that she signed her HIPAA license away, all of them came back that they couldn't find any of the information she said she had. She said, I went to this doctor and then afterwards said, no, I sought treatment, but I never actually went. So I made an appointment. So she just kept changing her story left and right, and she was getting away with this. So this document finally came back. It has an HCG level of 102. HCG is it's a hormone that's an indicator of pregnancy. Yeah. So most pregnancy P tests are HCG. Early on, it might be 100 or it might be 50, but it grows exponentially. So because she claims she was having twins, at the 5-month mark, the HCG probably should have been in the 100 to thousands. So she comes back with an HCG level of 102. And this is the only document that they have that proves she may have been pregnant. Right. It also could have meant she had a PCOS or anything else that can cause HCG. Right. Men can get it if they have a cancer. It's common if you're on an antipsychotic.
Also, you can inject yourself with hormones.
Yes. And you can inject yourself with hormones that were required for a horse. They use HCG for horse fertility, and she's got horses. So I'm not saying that's what she did, but if she wants to show, if she doesn't want to prove negatives, we can't prove that she didn't do that. Yeah. So I get this document. Everything's the same. It's the same document, but she sends me, and this is back in October, the HCG level that is 131,000. The real document on the right is 102, period. So she sends to me and Clayton an HCG level of 131,000. Now, this alone is enough to sink any defamation case she has against me, but we were just getting started with this. So I find this and I go, oh my gosh, this is insane. In the same day that I found that, I was on a live stream with another content creator, journalist named Megan Fox. And she's
Her
been
name's
like,
Megan Fox.
Yes. And she is foxy. And she is Gen X. She doesn't take shit from anybody. Yeah. She's a mom. Yeah. And she's not letting any women lie about stuff like this. Yeah. Anyone who's had a baby or wants to or couldn't have a baby, that's offensive. So we have this image. This image is from Greg Gillespie, the second of the 3 victims. We found out of the deposition there was a 4th she claimed she was pregnant with, a guy named Matt. So this ultrasound, Greg was able to reverse image search back to a blog in Texas by a lady named Stormy. Stormy had twins. The blog was called the Invisible Twin Syndrome, which is when you lose one of the twins. It's a tragic story.
Tragic.
One of the babies died. Yeah. And one of the babies is alive. He's now 8 years old because this is an old blog. So he found this online. And even with this information, she still got a restraining order against him. He said, that's not even mine. And you might say, well, all ultrasounds kind of look alike. And that's what she said. Sure. On my channel, we have recorded audio where she called him saying, hey, I got the ultrasound if you don't believe me. So I've got audio recording and I've got a text recording of her sending him this. And she still claims that he faked this and she never sent it to him because he called her out and found out it was fake. Mm-hmm. What's really interesting about this is I'm going to share it with you. Jane's version on the left. I underlined something that I found. This happened live on a YouTube video. I expanded it as much as possible. And on the left, you can see there's certain things that are off. Now, this is a low quality printed version, but as I expanded it, you could see that there was a possible watermark on the left-hand side that was still present. And one of the things that is done, and I don't know if you're going to find it, but when I say what it is, you're going to see it. One of the things that is done with reverse watermarking is there's like apps they can do to take watermarks off. Yeah. Well, when you see what's on the left, this is undoctored. Right next to the watermark, right above where I underlined, it says the Fiverr logo. Look really close. It's right there. It says Fiverr.
Oh my gosh.
It's right there. And digital version, it's clear as day. So I took the Fiverr logo and I layered it right on top. So either she stole this from Fiverr or she hired somebody and never paid because she tried to remove the image. My guess is she hired someone, didn't pay because she didn't want a paper trail. So it's just so offensive that she played with someone's life story. Now this person, when they found out, it obviously opened a bunch of, super sick. So this person is considering suing her. I don't know, what she could do over the theft here, but it's proven beyond a doubt that this was completely stolen. So I say to Mike, victim number one, I say, do you have anything? Because all we know is she made a TEDx talk about him being a bully on a vacation. A vacation he didn't pay for. He didn't want to date her. The other thing we know about Mike, I shared on last episode, is that her father, who was like a famous in San Francisco radio DJ, tried to repair their relationship, brought them together and said, Mike, Laura lied about being pregnant. She has a tendency to do this. He said that, and Mike was like, oh my gosh, I need to get a witness here. So Mike calls his brother-in-law Colin to come over to the restaurant that we're at, and the idea was, let's just own up to the lies so we can start anew. The reason why Mike still stayed with her, in part, isn't a great reason, but he felt bad for her. But because she was also, saying she was going to kill herself.
Wow.
Something she said to me and everyone else. She's done it dozens of times. She had, the FBI have gotten involved because of these threats. So Mike says, I just need someone to know this on my team, and gets that. And, a sworn affidavit, which means they were swearing to tell the truth, shared that story. So I said to Mike, do you have any proof of any of this? He says, I've got an old laptop. Now, this is from a long time ago. I don't have a laptop from 2016. I got one from 2021. Everything else is gone. He said, I got a laptop. And he goes, I don't even have a charger for it. So he goes and buys one of those older Mag-Lite chargers or whatever. He opens his laptop. It barely opens. He was like, I just thought the thing was going to be fried. It was like half broken. And he finds an iMessage conversation. And they pull 2,400 pages of text messages.
Holy shit.
So he shares with me some of these text messages. He goes, I didn't even remember any of this stuff. He had PDF files that she was sending him claiming she had ovarian cancer, and they were from a doctor. So now she's faking a doctor. And the doctors were this guy named Chan and Kung. There was 3 different doctors. But the tell that she was faking them was that on the photos of the PDFs, she wasn't even like formatting them in the right place. So to a random person who doesn't understand like medical billing and medical documents, you might go like, oh, this looks fine. But to people that saw this, they were like, whoa, no doctor would ever say this. So in the description of the real ovarian cancer, the doctor said, yes, that's right, Laura, you have real ovarian cancer, because she was saying, oh, my boyfriend doesn't believe me. And she was asking for the doctors to provide some evidence. Now, she's actually asking for herself to do it because she made this up. So the doctors say,
oh, so the doctor is her.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So she says things like, in the description, we think that your boyfriend should take better care of you during a tough time like this. Like crazy stuff like that. And it's all there. And it's so ridiculous. And then the doctor signs it, all the best. Now, everything else by her is signed all the best. So we just know right away it's her. And then not only that, some other things were off as far as like the way the doctor spelled their name in parentheses, like little things were off, but we go, it's just not enough. So this all happened recently. And it's like 3 days before the deadline to get the evidence in for this trial. So like time's a ticking to find information like this. Now, the fact that I found that fake HCG thing, I sent that, I like called up Clayton's lawyers and I was like, I got it. What
they
do you
must
want?
just be like, are they paying you?
No, it's mutual. It's in this instance, it's like, well, it's just nice to know that we all have the same goal, which is truth. Truth helps their client. Truth helps me not get sued. We like it.
Okay, packing for a trip can be such a hassle. Nothing fits right. Everything feels worn out. Your outfits don't coordinate. But I found my new secret weapon, and it's Quince. I know I've told you guys about this before. It's become my go-to for top-notch vacation essentials. Perfect for all my future travels. Quince has an incredible selection from linen dresses to stylish tops and comfortable shorts, all starting at just $30. And the best part, Quince offers prices that are 50 to 80% lower than similar high-end brands. How awesome is that? So by partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the middleman, Quince passes those savings straight to us. Plus, they ensure their factories follow safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices using only premium fabrics and finishes. I think a lot of people would love knowing that. And for my next getaway, I snagged a few pieces from Quince, including black and white linen pants and a really cute bathing suit. Oh, it's actually so cute. These items are not only stylish and comfortable, but also match perfectly with everything else in my suitcase. The quality rivals, if not surpasses, the other luxury brands I've tried, but without the hefty price tag. So if you're prepping for your next adventure, make sure you fill your suitcase with high quality essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/vine for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/vine to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/vine. Okay, Heineken 00. It's an alcohol-free option to the original Heineken that we all know and love. It brings that great Heineken taste, but with 0.0% alcohol. So it's perfect for those times when you want a beer, but you need to skip the alcohol. Sometimes I love to indulge in a couple cold beers after a long day of work, but indulging feels a lot better without the hangover of the beer and the extra calories. So I've swapped out the beer to Heineken 00, and it's completely guilt-free and perfect solution for staying on track without missing the fun. And you can do the same if maybe you have work meetings or an early morning workout, or you just don't want to drink that night. Also, the 4th of July is on a Thursday. Some of us still might need to work on Friday. So here is your answer. Heineken 00. 100% taste, 0.0% alcohol, and only 69 calories. Now you can. Follow the link in this episode description to buy now. Must be 21 years or older to purchase. Please enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Then I find out all of this information from Mike. And she immediately, with her lawyer, writes an affidavit, which is like swore under oath, submitted a document. I never faked cancer. I never had cancer. I never did any of this stuff. She does it ding, 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 which she lied about. So that night, we went live and we did a fundraiser and we raised money for a forensic investigator to, somebody whose job is to be an expert and testify at trials, high profile trials. They lived in San Francisco in the tech world. They were a computer expert. They have done, we really got just like this real, they show up to the house, everything's written in pencil, no tracking, one of those old school, like everyone's watching me X-Files kind of guys.
Yeah.
So he cracks it open. We raise money before the live stream starts. We needed to raise $3,000.
Okay.
It was $3,000 to get an expert, to look at this. And we knew it was all real. Before the live stream starts, they raised all that money. They ended up raising over $5,000. It all went to Mike and his wife. He has a 3-year-old for their troubles. When they found out, I found this out over the weekend when I first met them. When they found out that people raised this money for them, they both cried.
Aww.
Because here you just have a guy that he lost. He got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
She got one of the most aggressive restraining orders against somebody you could get. She has like an 8-year restraining order. I think the standard's 2 years. She has an 8-year restraining order. And think of all the people from your high school or people that you knew. No one's asking him about the restraining order. They're just talking. Yeah. Oh, he got a restraining order. Yep. Anyone time you're labeled as a wife beater, you need to shame real wife beaters. Yeah. You need to that's a real powerful thing. So this was a real emotional moment for him. He drove the laptop straight from his home. It had not been put onto Wi-Fi since then. It is like this virgin encapsulated just evidence, and he drives it to this guy, 2,500 page PDF report, just showing all the metadata that she did lie about it. She lied about all of the medical evidence, and it's just and how much of that was brought into this current trial? None of it, because they didn't even have the time. Now the judge will be able to look at all of that evidence, but if you weren't upset that she faked being pregnant, if you weren't upset that she faked being a black man, now you're upset that she faked cancer, because everyone's been affected by this. And so then we find out in her TEDx talk, she claims this guy, Mike, abused her, almost killed her. She made all these crazy claims about him. She used a photo in her TEDx talk to show how distraught she was in the hospital after one of these incidents. That same batch of photos was one she used months earlier to Mike to show him she was getting her ovary removed. And we know it's the same photo because you can tell by the ruffling of the sheets and the bed hair.
Oh my God.
And we just have this go, oh my gosh, she will use any photo. She will use any doctor's note. She will change it to fit her agenda, and she will punish these men who don't want to be with her.
This is blowing my mind, because I'm like, she can only go so far until, I get that she could get away with this if you didn't really take the time to find all this. Of course you could keep getting away with it. But I wonder if she's shitting her pants right now, being
we believe a lot of money has been moved around, probably to prevent her from a massive defamation suit by the men. So in order to prove defamation, you have to prove someone acted intentionally and really tried to inflict harm on somebody, and also cost them, a livelihood, which could be tough to prove. But with Clayton, she was literally calling people. And by the way, this is a good segue into Chase J. Jones.
Yeah.
So this guy, Chase J. Jones, who was an email blasted to a bunch of publicists and myself, no one ran with the story, but they purported to be a black second-year journalism student at Howard University. And she immediately denied it was her, but it was obvious it was. You could just tell from all of the metadata, everything was, no one else has an axe to grind against Clayton. And the thing they were canceling him for, if you don't remember, was that he danced to a song with the N-word in it. And anyhow, so Chase J. Jones went dormant You know, we tried to subpoena them when I was being sued by her, and Chase J. Jones dodged the subpoena, spent all this time trying to quash the subpoena, which is all these terms to get them removed from it. They gave us their address, which was a virtual P.O. box in Seattle. Their VPN was out of Paris. Chase J. Jones didn't want to be caught until one of our cult members did something no one else tried to do. They did something no one else tried to do. And this happened just a few weeks ago. And by the way, if you could prove that Chase J. Jones was Laura, it is a slam dunk defamation case. Yeah. You don't just create people to punish others. I mean, in the document, in the email from Chase J. Jones, it was like, I think Clayton should be canceled because of X, Y, and Z. So like clearly the motive was there. Yeah. So this is what they did. Chase J. Jones has a YouTube channel. That's where they released the smear video about Clayton. That unique code that YouTube channel has, it's like Chase Jones dash whatever is, you know, there is a way to acquire your password if you forgot it. And that way to do it is like a 2-factor authentication. So on YouTube, if you sign out and then try to sign back in with Chase J. Jones as your user, and you say, I forgot password, it says, type in a cell phone number and we'll send that code. Well, I'll tell you what.
You typed in her cell phone number.
I didn't do this. Someone did this and of course sent it to me. So I don't want to take credit, but one of my people, they type in her cell phone number and it immediately goes to, you know, text this number for the code. So it verifies that it's her. If you type in any other cell phone number in the world, it doesn't work. We've tried everyone. Mine, and they'll say, user not found, user not found. When you type in hers, so then they do that, and of course it goes to her cell phone. So now she's sitting at her casita finding out like Chase J. Jones, someone's trying to reset your password. So you want to talk about shitting yourself. We all learned it was her. Now, that's all the evidence you need. Yeah. That's all you need. Yeah. But of course, because this has kind of been high profile, we have people in the FBI watching, people in the judicial world watching, a DA's office. They're all watching this because it's just so aggressively ridiculous how she's abused the system. Well, somebody at the domain company got a hold of me. The domain company where Chase J. Jones had their email registered. And they said, are these the last 4 digits on her cell phone number? I said, you're damn right they are. So because we had enough evidence, they were able to be like, okay, this is it. You know, so she created Chase J. Jones.
And Chase J. Jones is now nowhere to be found.
Gone. and my lawyer tried to FaceTime with him. We said, look, just show us your driver's license privately. I don't need to out you if you're somebody else and that's your pseudonym. Yeah. It is somebody else. Yeah. It's Laura. Yeah. So she, is behind that. And, the annoying part is it's like you catch someone on their lies. You just want them to go like, yep, you got me.
Right.
If I lied to your face and you knew it, I'd be like, Kayla, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You got me.
Up.
My bad.
Yeah.
She doesn't. She just goes on to something else.
Because she has gotten away with so many lies her whole life probably. And this is the one time somebody's challenging her.
Yeah. And she's playing the games of, oh, you're just trying to make money off of me. I am making money. And that's the only way to fight her.
Yeah.
I'm the first man, first of all, that hasn't met her. So her restraining order she tried to get against me was denied. Yeah. And her, she dropped her case against me because she had none and all these other things. But I am the only one who she's not draining their expenses. Yeah. Clayton's down 150, 250K. Mike lost money. Greg's lost 150,000. I mean, she has wrecked these men. She has, spent hours and days with domestic violence detectives claiming that these guys are behind them. And as we saw at the court hearing, she's got all these bomb sniffing dogs there because she's just made it all about her versus us, which is actually just making it about justice.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. So, and where is she right now? Like, is she active on social media? Is she like...
She's still posting photos and she's got a podcast, and even more funny, she's on The League, these high-end dating websites. So
wait, she's active posting on social media.
Yeah.
Now and her profile is not private.
Right.
And she has a podcast. Are people like just monitoring her socials at all time to delete anyone who's saying stuff? Or
her dad made a couple comments on his like Facebook page because again he was like $1 million a year DJ, he was a big guy up, and people believe that was her making those comments because her dad's very ill with Parkinson's. People would leave comments and screen grab them like your daughter's lying, and then they would be deleted right away.
Yeah.
As far as her Instagram goes, to be quite honest, I've never been on her page. She's got, and this is the scary part, is that I'm her next target. I got to remind her I'm married. I got a ring. But she is infatuated with the idea that anyone would be so interested in her. But she hates me She's creating all these fake accounts to like hate on me, but all I've done is share the truth. And I'm not saying any of this to like say, oh, woe is me, I'm the victim. Like I've like done this all on my monetized channel, but like, let's not pretend like her lawyer is not, also making money, knowing damn well she's lying through her teeth.
Yeah. I mean, well, and his emails are just like so unprofessional too. Like what?
Wild stuff.
It's insane.
Wild stuff. So this first guy, Mike, I mean, he's reliving all these wounds, and he's had all he had no one to believe him for years, and all of that. And like I said, another piece of fraud we found was the reason why he was sticking around is because she was going to use him as her realtor to sell her home. And like he's mid to late 20s. It's like a couple $100,000 commission because her family's worth money. And then there was also a radio deal. They were going to co-host a radio show together. Only come to find out, the high power agent that represents her father was the one who was going to represent them, and he was going to make $250,000 a year, which if you've never done a podcast or had a radio show, no one would ever pay you that.
Right.
Well, come to find out, this guy, David, I think his name's Katz, never wanted to get on the phone with Mike. He was made up. The guy,
oh my God.
The guy was real, but like she made him up through a fake name, used the same signature, all the best. Like it was.
Wait, they were going to do a radio show together?
Right. So she worked at her father's radio station. And there's other Bachelor connections. Ben Z. Was he from your season?
My season.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have said that then. He did a podcast interview with her, and hasn't responded to any of my requests, but I want to know if she, tried to sink her teeth into him at all. They have photos together.
They do.
Yeah. And I understand these guys.
Big guy.
They get happily married, big, strong guy. Yeah. And she's this frail little person. And she's like, oh, who will believe them? Well, luckily, I don't know anything of their relation other than that they met, and I had photos of them together. But people have wondered about this because she has, according to others, auditioned for the show, claims she never watched it, but she's auditioned for 2 or 3 seasons. So I'm not, my goal is not to bully her, but I had to start by showing you that they're threatening my livelihood. Yeah. And what I've learned about myself, like, I believe she interpreted my kindness for weakness, and I am a people pleaser, but I'm trying to please the people in my life by not having any of these threats come near us. Yeah. And in doing that, I have to expose her.
She's doing something very disturbing and wrong, and she's ruining other people's lives. So you exposing her is not the same as you bullying her. It's literally trying to stop something that's against the law and ruining people's lives.
Yeah, and it's hard for her to realize that. So the trial happens on Monday. Yeah. It's an evidentiary hearing. It's only 2 hours. It was extended from 45 minutes. 50 people show up from all over the country, people that have just been really curious about this, bomb-sniffing dogs. Her lawyer calls the cops on Mike Maricini, this victim, this guy who was the victim of her fake cancer hoax and the fake pregnancy.
Because there's a restraining order and
because she has a restraining order, but he's a subpoenaed witness. So the lawyer, and my thought is he was trying to make a spectacle or even try to get Mike to act out violently or something, like doing something to change the tides of this case. And the police end up, like, he didn't call the security guards. There's police that all work there, federal employees, didn't do that, called 911 and tried to make a scene. It all happened while we were live streaming from the outside, and nothing came of that. But it just goes to show how ridiculous this bully is, and this family that might have dark secrets, and no one wants to throw her under the bus. Her sister doesn't want to talk.
I was going to ask about the sister. So her sister obviously knows she's using her ultrasound photos.
Yeah, people have reached out to that family, and you wonder, like, where's her mother? Where's the sister's mother-in-law?
Right.
You're not related to that family.
Right.
Like, you would be pissed if your healthy baby was made such a mockery of. And I guess the only compassion I can have is that they are also victims of whatever torment exists and don't want to pull into it, or there's family money that doesn't want to be messed with. It's really hard to say. So during the trial, she's already admitted to some of these things. She already admitted to doctoring the ultrasound. The only ultrasound, they can't prove where it came from, because when they looked at Planned Parenthood Mission Viejo, where she actually says she went, they don't have a record. Wow. So what happens? Clayton hires an expert, a medical expert that they found out through my channel. We got an email from this amazing expert, Dr. Deans. Her and her partner are like, they have all the credentials in the world. Yeah. And they were actually head of a Planned Parenthood. And they come on and say, look, that Planned Parenthood, first of all, you can't be anonymous like she claimed. So there would be a record. She goes, I was anonymous. They said, and then she goes, I faked a name. You can't do that. And, you need a driver's license and all that medical stuff. Yeah. So, because you can't go anonymous to a federally funded medical, or anywhere. There's malpractice issues. And they go, that ultrasound, we don't even do that here.
And also, why would she do that? And that's just like, to me, you're hiding something if you say, I went under anonymous.
And she says, because she didn't want Clayton to find her, and she plays a victim. But it's like, first of all, you would be anonymous. If you went to Planned Parenthood Mission Viejo, they're not going to say, Kaitlyn Bristowe went to Planned Parenthood.
Right.
You'd be anonymous.
Yeah.
But you still have to show your name to get in.
Yes.
So, and it's just, it's so insulting. So she goes under oath. This is, on video on YouTube. She says, that's because I didn't go to Mission Viejo. I went to Los Angeles. So she just changes her story and lies in front of the judge, sworn in.
And is the judge like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she had a few moments where the audience kind of laughed at her for making things up.
Yeah.
And then she goes, I just can't. And she starts breaking down. And at that point they called a recess. And that was during the cross-examination where Clayton's attorney, this lady named Deandra, was really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
They were calling her out. Well, as it turns out, she doubles down on July 2nd. That's when I went to Planned Parenthood Los Angeles. Well, that's a Sunday, and Los Angeles Planned Parenthoods aren't open on a Sunday. So she can't even get out of her own way with these lies.
I was going to say, it has to catch up eventually with the amount of lies she's trying to keep up with are eventually going to crumble.
Oh, and it has. And it's because of the audience holding her accountable this fall and cross-examining her in so many ways that they got her to say so many things on record. Now, she mentions me by name multiple times. She says the only reason she sent that fake HCG test is because I was harassing her and she wanted to get me off of her trail.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what she said. I was harassing her. And that's the claim she's making. She's claimed she's lost a bunch of weight. So my belief is she's going to sue me or try to for some sort of emotional distress or something, which would be
on top of the $140 million.
I no longer believe she's going to sue me for defamation because I've proven everything with above and beyond. If she wants to take that to a trial, it's going to cost her a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I've just made it clear, I'm funded.
Yeah.
My audiences, they are backing me 100%. Yeah. So we just don't think that's going to happen. So it's lie after lie, blames me. And then kind of, they didn't get to a lot of the other witnesses. And then she's got a witness, which is a doctor who his claim to fame is he's delivered 440,000 babies, which is I'm also I also delivered my son. So
right.
Not a big deal.
I'm confused. She had someone that was there as a witness to what?
Basically an expert. She hired an expert, $500 an hour, to authenticate that she was pregnant. And she got this expert to say 99.99% sure that she was pregnant because her HCG hit a level of 102. Now, if someone doesn't lie and there's no sinister motivation or pattern or all this stuff, you'd say, all right, well, yeah, 102. I mean, I guess that means she was probably a week or two pregnant, not 5 months.
Right.
So,
well, that's the thing. And I only know about these levels because I froze my eggs and I learned all about that. And then my girlfriend was talking when she was struggling to get pregnant, her levels weren't going up. And I've just heard about it. And I know that would not be the number if you're 5 months, especially with
twins. It would be 50% higher.
Right.
So she knew when you look up what should the HCG level be when you're 5 months pregnant, it would be somewhere between 100 to 200,000.
Yeah.
And she chose 132,000. So you can't pretend you don't know it when you chose dead on the what would be the right number.
Right. Well, and it's interesting that she's so I don't want to say smart, but she covers her tracks and does a lot of things to manipulate situations, but then she'll do something make really dumb mistakes.
She covered her tracks till she fucked with me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and
true.
I do want to take a little bit of a victory lap because I know she's going to be watching and it's you don't want this. Yeah, I don't want to be sued, but I'm only going to get more audience. I'm only going to win. And you're only she was given she was making hundreds of thousands from her parents. She lives with them. She was given a pretty good life.
Yeah.
But that's all going to dry up. The father doesn't make that income anymore.
Right.
He made $1 million for 10 years. Take some taxes out. They don't have that much money to be giving it away to lawyers. Lawyers are only lawyers and me are going to be the ones making money here, right?
Yeah.
So I just have to remind her this isn't a battle you want to fight. I'm willing for it to be over, and I've said she's a self-help podcaster. The most interesting podcast she could ever make is explaining why she did all this.
Wow.
Walk us through all of the issues. Throw your mom under the bus. Do whatever you need to do. Tell us about why you did this. That'd be the most interesting thing she did.
Okay, a lot of you have been DMing me on Instagram asking about my lounge sets. Have to tell you, Skims Soft Lounge Collection totally up my loungewear game. And whoever said that soft clothes are just for inside the house, clearly you haven't tried Skims. You know the loungewear pieces that sometimes are too stiff or not comfy enough? Yeah, then you are not buying from the right places because that is not happening over here at Skims. I have to gush about my favorite piece. The Soft Lounge Scoop Onesie. It has been a lifesaver in this Nashville heat. Perfect for those quick morning coffee runs. Just throw it on with some sandals. Out the door, I've ditched all my other onesies because this one is just that good. And after a long day, there's nothing better than curling up on the couch with a big glass of red wine, my matching PJ set. The Soft Lounge sleep set has become my go-to for my nighttime routine. Super careful not to spill wine on it because missing a night in this set is honestly tragic. So if you're ready to step up your loungewear game, shop the Skims Soft Lounge collection at skims.com. They've got sizes from double XS to 4X. And don't forget to let them know I sent you. After you place your order, select Off the Vine in the survey and pick our show from the drop-down menu that follows. This episode of Off the Vine is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Now, whether you're into top charting hits, classic rock, binge-worthy TV dramas, or the latest reality shows, you get to choose what fills your playlist or your TV schedule, right? And guess what? Now you can call the shots on your auto insurance too. Enter the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you options. And that's something you're going to want to press play on. It's easy to start a quote and you'll be able to choose the best option for you fast. Just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. Quote today at progressive.com to try the Name Your Price tool for yourself. Join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
So I'm confused on how she gets, like, who's listening to her self-help podcast? Are these people who don't know? Like,
she had a little bit of
exist, this conversation exists, the lies, like.
So she had a little bit of an audience. She was getting maybe she paid for them, but she was getting some guests. I mean, she had some credibility coming off. Her mom was a Peabody journalist. I believe her mom's completely in on it, having heard her on audio tapes when they called the police. He's a joke, honey. Clayton's a joke. Like, she's in the background saying these things. She looks like I'm just a man-hating, like, punish these guys.
Yeah.
So what a lot of psychologists have said is, look, she probably knows what she's doing because she's fabricated all this evidence, but she feels entitled to do that because of the way that she was rejected. Like, they deserve this is kind of the feeling.
Yeah.
So it is scary. And I mean, one of her podcast guests was a psychologist that later went on Reality Steve's podcast and said, hey, I've been watching all the videos. Here's what she did. And then, of course, they emailed that psychologist privately. How dare you listen to what Dave and Steve have to say? I mean, this is starting to get, like, this coverage is starting to go mainstream right now.
Yeah.
It's getting the attention of much bigger channels. And it will, it's still, documentarians are all over it. One streamer has, like, they're almost like on the budget level of making this thing happen. Yeah. And it's because people have an appetite. And now that Baby Reindeer has come out.
I was just going to talk about that.
This puts Baby Reindeer to sleep.
I was just going to talk about Baby Reindeer because then I saw that the real life Martha is suing Netflix for like $140 million too for defamation.
Right, because they may have made up the ending and she might have a case there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean she didn't do what she did.
Right.
In this case, I've said everything that's true.
Yeah.
Now, if she wants to hold on to this truth that she was pregnant at one time, just nobody, how are you supposed, there's a saying, falseness in uno, falseness in omnibus, guilt, lying in one, lying in everything. Yeah. So it's like, how are you supposed to believe her? This is boy cried wolf.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but I've lost all benefit of the doubt. I still believe people. I still believe women.
Yeah.
I believe people.
Of course.
And we have to double down on that.
Yeah.
But she gave us all of these reasons to not believe her. And then we looked into it, which no one had ever done to this extent. And we found Fiverr logos, fake HCG, fake cancer, fake agent. So she's faked being a Jewish guy agent. She faked a black guy. She faked being an Asian doctor.
Yeah.
She's faked all these things. And she's just a white woman in Scottsdale, Arizona.
And is this, I forget your answer from last time. Because I go, why? Why is she doing this? What is she getting, like, some money from these guys?
With Greg Gillespie, she got a lot of love with her TEDx talk. Oh, with Mike Maricini, she got a lot of love with that TEDx talk. She got a Chicken Soup for the Soul. Now she's got a self-help podcast, and she's a victim of all these different things. So she started writing articles about me in December. She had to take my name out of those articles because people were Googling me, finding out how reasonable and surefire my evidence is. People can believe whatever they want. she removed my name from it all, calling me a cyber bully and this and that. The blood is on my hands if I hurt myself. She published a quasi-suicide note to her lawyer's blog days before the trial, saying, if I hurt myself, like, thank you guys all very much type of deal. And the lawyer let her publish that. And he says after the trial, he said, I think she was a star witness. She, even though she's admitting to perjury, and the only way she doesn't get away with it is if I believe it's called the county prosecutors decide to prosecute her. The government has to decide to go after her because the law that she broke was within the government, which is perjury. She just lied multiple times and faked medical documents. And she goes, well, I only sent those to a content creator, Dave Neal. Like, I only sent, and she sent them to Clayton too, but she was trying to lie to the public that wasn't believing her. And she was manic and she was messy. And they say this about psychopathic killers, that the crime scene is just littered with evidence, and it was all hiding in plain sight.
The manic part really scares me. Like, she obviously is scared. I was even scared, like, putting out the podcast. I'm like, is she going to come after me? Like, I get scared.
Nick Viall held onto his podcast, apparently, from what I've heard, for days, and wasn't going to release it after he interviewed Clayton. And of course, there was another clip where he discussed it and took it out. Now, look, I've already called him spineless. I'm done. Whatever. He's trying to protect his family. I just can't imagine the world where alumni of the show aren't supporting each other. If like so-and-so was getting a bad rap, the women of Bachelor, you group chats, and Clayton was just this guy, and everyone said, he's going to handle it. And nobody knew about this, and it was just happening again. And then when he started to talk about it, he was getting shamed for dancing when he found out that she had no fetal DNA. Like, everyone was making fun of him because Gabby Windy made fun. Oh, he's doing it all wrong. You should hire a PR person. It's like, people need to remember he's the victim here. I'm not a men's rights guy. My channel took off from defending Cassie Randolph. From defending, more often than not, the victims in Bachelor Nation are women because of douchebag boys, right?
Yes.
And this is just a case where Clayton was a sucker.
Yeah.
And he's still a victim. And these men are finally getting the attention they deserve in their truth share.
Yeah. So what's happening right now with those men? Like, what is next?
So the big trial was June 10th on Monday.
Okay.
And do you want to hear what happened?
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Really?
I thought I was going to find out. I thought they have the gavel, guilty, innocent. It's an evidentiary hearing. The judge is going to take all this evidence. And the judge had to reprimand her a few times and say, this is my courtroom, ma'am. Like, shut up.
Really?
Her lawyer was giving her signs, and while being, and you cannot do that. Like, when you're cross-examining the witness, it's like me and you. So Clayton's lawyer had to move over to stand in between the lawyer giving the signs and like trying to calm her down and stuff. You got to so she was just wilting under the pressure of the truth here and lying and making it up as she went. So the judge has 60 days to get back.
And is this like the last of it?
This is the last of it as far as this trial goes.
Okay.
Clayton can decide if he wants to sue her for defamation.
Wow.
Any of them can. I'm personally not going to sue her at this point for anything.
How come?
I haven't lost a livelihood.
Okay.
I could probably show, like, emotionally it was very tough.
Yeah.
My wife on several occasions has expressed to me how this has robbed us of our happy times. I got served my cease and desist while we were on our baby moon. And it does make me emotional. It does, like, it is, I can't take that back.
Yeah.
So all I can do is continue to try to protect my family.
Yeah.
And I'm not pretending to be a victim. I've had a lot of people that, the people that don't like me out there, everyone's got haters. They say, oh, he's just asking for it. And I go, I'd rather be accused of asking for it and then have the wives of these men hug me.
Yeah.
Mike's wife is beautiful.
Yeah.
Greg's girlfriend, they just had a baby 5 months old. Beautiful. They have beautiful families.
Yeah.
Clayton's parents came to my comedy show in March. They gave me a big hug. His dad was like and then they were there at the trial. They gave me a baby gift. Those are the people that matter.
Yeah.
The people that finally get some truth. And when someone goes, oh, whatever happened to your son? They can show that there was a court ruling that showed that they weren't lying.
There's no way that she's going to win, right?
The judge denied every one of her motions leading up to it because they tried to get all of these witnesses, they tried to do all these things to silence all of the past stories. And Clayton's side was only trying to get like 2 years of medical records. The judge gave him back all the way to 2018. Yeah. So the judge has expanded and has been very curious to find out what goes on here, but we still don't know.
So June 10th, they have 60 days.
Yeah, the judge was fantastic. She really was, and I think from all I hear, she's super well respected. And she obviously sees. I mean, the perjury, some of the perjury has been admitted to. Yeah. Some of the lies have been admitted to, and she obviously sees what's going on here. It'll just be how she interprets the law. Her side has already said that if they don't get the judgment they want, they'll appeal. But usually when you appeal a judgment, like if the judge, so they were just arguing over the bill at this point. Yeah. So they argue over the bill, then Clayton's side is going to say, here are the billable hours, $200,000. If she wants to appeal that, she'll probably have to put up some money up front. And then if she loses the appeal, that money's just garnished, it's just taken from her. They don't think they're going to get any money out of her, even though her family does have money. They think that it's just going to be like kicked down the road because you could garnish her wages moving forward, but like, is she making any money? So right. It's kind of a frustrating answer.
Yeah. And so like if you were to put a percentage on how confident you are that she's going to be guilty.
95%.
Really?
I probably could go higher. It's just a matter of what they find her guilty of, and it's not like innocent guilty in the way we see like a bigger trial. It's like family court. So I think the judge has the discretion, which actually helps Clayton in this case, to look at all the evidence and go, yeah, she tested a 102, but she never tested anything before or after that. So there's no baseline. Yeah. And even though her expert says she must have been pregnant, they cross-examined her expert and said, well, couldn't all these other things cause 102? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Antipsychotic, anti-anxiety, certainly different. And then her doctor said, well, none of her records show that she had that. And then they asked her doctor, did you look for the Planned Parenthood records that she clearly faked? And the doctor said no. And they were like, well, we rest our case. Yeah. So her expert didn't even try to find her ultrasound, which an ultrasound is the only way to prove pregnancy until the baby's out of the womb. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's other things, but like that's what you do. A pregnancy test of HCG is an indicator of pregnancy. Yeah. When we took ours, we went to the doctor within 48 hours to confirm the miracle of life was happening. Yeah. She did not do that. Yeah. In any effort she made, she never contacted her primary care provider. She would only contact like an abortion specialist on a chat room so she could screen grab that she talked to somebody. Like there was always somebody digitally she talked to, but nobody in person.
And did she ever admit on paper or like in words, any sort of proof that her and Clayton did not have sex?
She always called it intimacy. They were intimate.
So she won't. Like if you just flat out ask her, did you guys have sex?
She was on Reddit early on answering everybody and her account was verified it was her, but she's changed her story. So at first there was some fluids down there. Oh. Clayton says she blew me and then she ran into the bathroom. And now everyone's doing turkey baster theories, but those would all be if she was actually pregnant. Like if she was actually pregnant, you could have that conversation. Right. But no, within days, she said, I think I'm feeling pregnant, which never happens. Right. The other thing is that on these fake ultrasounds that she had, she put the date of conception as the date, or she put the initial date as the date of conception. And they always use last menstrual cycle. Yeah. Or last menstrual period, LMP, or whatever they call it. So it wouldn't be May 20th, the day she blew the guy twice. Go Clayton. It would be whatever the other day was. Yeah. So she just, it's all the signs of someone who's never been pregnant. Now, she claims she has been 4 times now. And then you wonder, well, why did she, eventually she hates the guy, so she's trying to punish him. But in the meantime, as we already showed, she's saying, come over and bang me. Yeah. I'm the safest guy you can have sex with because I'm already pregnant. And the other indicator that they never had sex was, and this was brought up in the trial, Clayton's attorney was like, I'm sorry for bringing this up. But in the email, she says, come see how tight I am. I haven't had sex in a year.
Ha! Suck it. I suck it. She did, but I say suck it all the time.
Swallow that truth, Kaitlyn. Yeah. Take that load of justice.
But like that alone, you're like, you idiot.
We gotta it's like no matter, and again, and she changed her miscarriage date all the time, like from before the 20 week to after that. And they never even brought up the baby bump. She clearly had a baby bump. Like they never brought that out. She clearly was like so pregnant. She looked more pregnant than my wife ever looked. Yeah. And she's tiny in real life. She's only 90 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So she's a tiny person. In the pregnancy belly video, you can see her moving the belly. She did all these crazy things, not thinking she was on camera. And now we're still looking into things. We're finding out someone, like a manicurist she went to. We got this information that she went every 2 weeks. So we're trying to find the security footage of that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We're still doing it because it's like, why not? And I'm not doing it to harass her. You want to sue me, I'm going to keep on finding these truths.
Dude, if you are trying to come after my family in any way whatsoever, I will go hard in the paint for the fam.
There you go.
Wow, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I took a lot of victory laps because I was like, "Whoa, Dave really stepped up here." But it was with an audience of thousands of people in all of their eyeballs.
Yeah, but you need to like change a career path here. You like or keep what you do as a side hustle and like go after this kind of shit.
I think I'm gonna find a way to tell this story in a 30-minute window on stage, not quite stand up, but not too serious. And have that be like Dave's version of her TED Talk. Because that was her pride and joy, was doing a TEDx talk.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in front of a live audience just to share the truth and just to be like, if she does want to write an article about me in the future, here, you can watch this performance along with all of the evidence. I'll just do a little slideshow.
Genius.
Yeah.
That's genius. Also, if big networks are going to pick it up, like it's going to,
Yeah, and we might do a proper true crime documentary just because I've shared the story in a lot of venues, and on my page I've done hundreds of hours, but like a real precise 20 episode, like tell the whole story. I think that's what we might do, because I even think that's more information than a documentary would be able to get across.
You've got so much to work with.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hope this interview doesn't get picked up. Me looking like my cowboy boots.
This is the one. Yeah.
This is the one that's gonna make it on the Netflix
There it
series.
is. You got the Unabomber glasses. There she is, the Canadian truth right here.
Like, I have questions about that girl. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're still on it. We're still doing stuff, and we're just
so updates on my podcast, because they will come out. We don't know. It could be tomorrow, probably 2 weeks from now. I rebranded the podcast to be called The Rush Hour with Dave Neal. I actually wanted to ask you about that because you come from the Bachelor niche and you want to like expand. Like you've been able to do that with your podcast, but like what's the trick for keeping your Bachelor but like moving?
They want to grow with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think these people have been so invested in what you've done, especially now, that they want to grow with you and like see what else you can do.
Well, here we are.
That's so. Oh, so you dropped the Bachelor.
I dropped Bachelor. You can still search Bachelor Rush Hour and it shows up.
But I think that's smart.
It's just the Rush Hour with Dave Neal, because we do a morning and afternoon episode. And my thought process is, no matter what day someone's listening to this, they can click on the podcast and see that I've got 20-minute episodes and all the bite-sized contents there. I play like on today's episode, I played clips of her mentioning my name and how I'm harassing her, and just every step of the way trying to redirect her story to the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do this every day, twice a day?
Twice a day, morning and afternoon.
That's so impressive.
I just want, everyone, it's 25 minutes. It's easy.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm like on TikTok and I see a cool clip, I like take notes.
Yeah.
I share your content all the time. So people
so
obviously
nice.
know what you got going on.
That's so
But
nice.
I think it's a good way that people, if I share like an interview, here's what Dax Shepard said on so-and-so. And then if people find it interesting, they can then go watch it. But I kind of just like summarize the day's news. I go like light into politics, light into pop culture, Bachelor, Bravo, stuff like that.
And then what is your take on the Bachelor news right now? Is there anything?
It's, as far as from internet traffic, Jen's season is getting no buzz whatsoever. I think it'll pick up with the trailer. But right now, it's just like very quiet.
That makes me so sad.
Yeah, I don't think it's her fault. It's
definitely not her fault.
They put her in a bad spot. Maria didn't want to. Thank you. I heard you and Maria shout me out.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
I milked that to the bone.
As you should. As you absolutely.
When you or someone shouts me out, I get 1,000 messages. Kaitlyn, Bristowe, shouting out. I push my wife out of the way. We gotta listen to this. She's like, cool.
Yeah, we love you. Well, it's so interesting too, because like Hannah Brown, we didn't really get to know her on Bachelorette, and then on Bachelor, and then her season was insanely amazing. And then Jen, I'm like, we didn't really get to see her, so are we getting another Hannah Brown?
I think the word of mouth when something is good, no matter what you're watching.
Yeah.
Someone was like, dude, you got to watch Deal or No Deal Island. I was like, that sounds like the dumbest show in the world. I loved it.
Really?
So when word of mouth is good, everyone, baby reindeer, right? Just drops it and all of a sudden it's viral. So we'll know in a couple episodes. Like people love Joey's season. Oh my gosh, you're missing out. Okay, I'll go watch it.
Right.
So we'll know based on that end of episode 1 trailer. That's got to be the most the most pressure side of things. Like, can you put together a trailer that shows us the Rachel Recchia crying, Clayton confessing his love? Like,
that is true. That one trailer will make or break a season, and I'll watch it, and every time I'm like, and I'm in.
Got me.
That
crack
trailer
cocaine
gets me every time. I'm like, even if the first episode I'm like so average, and then I see the trailer and I'm like, Well, I have to tune in next week.
That's humanity. We want to be invested, but we can't be invested till we know what Jen's like, and we just didn't get to see much of her.
True.
How did you feel when your trailer, like you probably got to watch it like ahead of time on a screener, but are you shitting bricks?
Yes. Yes. I asked her if she was shitting bricks about it, and she was like, no, I'm actually really excited to watch it back. And I was like, that is not how I felt at all whatsoever.
Were you more nervous as a host, as a live host, or
no.
that was more comfortable?
Then what?
Then when you were like the lead.
Oh, the lead was the hardest thing, the scariest thing, the hardest thing, the most responsibility. Like it was, I loved hosting.
We got to get you to host a show.
I loved every second of hosting.
I loved you hosting.
Well, the thing that I'm really proud of in all of that is like, I took it really seriously, but that live 3-hour finale that I did by myself was really like, I finished that and I was like, actually, you could see at the ending, if you really watch me, you could see me high five myself at the end.
I'm not kidding. You crushed it. You just have a specific style and you did it and you stayed true. And sometimes people try to be something that they're not. And you peering through the windows and being giddy, like that's the energy the show needed. And what can you do? I mean, like they obviously... but yeah, to have that finale where you got the home court and it's all you, that's like when that's
God.
like,
I was like, Kaitlyn, don't blow. And everybody, like the head of ABC and Hulu, Rob Mills, is in the trailer just being like, oh God, what have we done? Like, because you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. Now I've got a live audience of like the people at home, people in there. And I'm like, it's like a 2-second delay. And everybody's in this trailer just being like, she can't screw this up. And I was so nervous, but I was like, I felt so confident about it.
You did great. There's a comic named Jenny Slate, and her first episode of Saturday Night Live, she said the F word, and she got fired after that season.
You're kidding.
She said it. She like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like you don't realize until you're live like what you can and can't do.
Well, and the F-bomb comes out of my mouth so easily.
Sure.
I say it all the time. I'm allowed to say it on my podcast. So I was like, I was trying not to doubt myself because that's when it happens. But I was just like, I got this. Thank you so much for doing this again. This is just always like, I needed the distraction too because I'm like, but thank you for coming on.
I'm always appreciative of your platform. So to your audience, you've got a good one, guys. You got a Disney approved host here. Don't take her for granted.
Drunk host.
Disney at night right here.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my God. Thank you so much.
I'm Caitlin Bristowe. I'll see you next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday.